TrueNorthTV, powered by Communitech. From Waterloo Region, Ontario, Canada, to the world. The conversations you need and want to hear with interesting people who live at the intersection of technology and humanity. Tech for good. Let's get started.
Hello and welcome to TrueNorthTV. My name is Iain Klugman and I'm your host today. We've got a very special guest with us today. Her name is Ketaki Desai. And she joins us from Pittsburgh, where she moved north about 8 weeks ago. And she's going to tell us a bit about that journey. And of course, this is really what we tried to achieve when we launched True North, was the essence of doing things differently, building in values and principles into the kinds of companies that we build, the kind of communities we build, the kind of country that we build. And it's starting to get some real attention, not just because of our bold and cheeky H-1B visa campaign that we're running in Times Square this week, but because of the fact that people really are starting to pay attention to Canada and looking north. Thank you for joining us, Ketaki. It's great to have you here.
Thank you so much, Iain, and thank you for having me here, and thank you for everything that you're doing to attract talent to Canada.
It's our pleasure. Anyway, I'd love to hear your story. Tell me about sort of your life story in a nutshell.
So it's quite a long story. I'll try to keep it short. But I was born in India. I was raised in the Middle East, and I decided to move to the United States for graduate school, and that was 18 years ago. So for 18 years, and I met my husband after moving to the U.S., and he's also from India. So for 18 years, between the two of us, we've pretty much been on every possible visa there is. And at some point with the current administration, you live under this umbrella of, well, what's going to happen, right? But with the current administration, it started becoming really clear that we don't know whether something might happen tomorrow. Because, one morning you see a tweet and you're like, oh my God, like, is my life going to change? And so September of 2018, we decided, well, we needed a backup plan. And we looked to Canada. And it was interesting because at the time, we honestly were thinking about this as a backup plan. And we were like, you know what, we got our IELTS, the English language thing done. We got our transcripts taken care of, that was easy. And we were like, you know what, let's just send in an application. My husband actually had a really bad week at work. And he was nervous about losing his job, which is not very typical. And we couldn't fathom the idea of not knowing what would happen to us if we had to leave the country. So that sort of started our journey. We put in the application. We got an invitation to apply in 6 days. And we got our approved permanent residency paperwork in less than 6 months. Wow, and this is where, when we'd been waiting for 16 and a half years. And so we started looking at Canada very differently. It was, well, if this country really wants us to be here, why are we not really looking at that as an opportunity? We did our landing September of last year, so exactly a year ago, and everyone was so welcoming. It was like, why doesn't the world know that Canada is welcoming of immigrants, and Canada has such a vibrant economy. It has such a vibrant innovation ecosystem, and so it opened our eyes. And when COVID hit, things started going really bad in the United States. My visa was not being renewed. It's still not renewed. We applied in March. It supposedly takes a few weeks. Currently, the wait time is over 16 months, and so we were like, now's the time.
So big difference between the process of getting your visa here and getting your visa in America. Yeah. What are some of the other differences that you've noticed in Canada? Things that surprised you?
I was actually, when you think about Toronto, you think about this big city, right? But the thing you don't realize is that, one, it's so safe. It's so clean, because you're thinking New York. It's incredibly clean, and the kind of people that you meet, the diversity. We have a little dog, and we take him on a walk every night. And in our first week after we got out of the quarantine, we heard 4 languages that we'd never heard before. And my husband and I love traveling, so we've traveled to over 40 countries. And for us, we were like, wait, is this from the European continent? Is it from the African? Like, for us to not even know where this language came from, it's just that sense of you're Canadian, but you're also from somewhere else, and it's okay. And we want that, melding of cultures, which was very different from how things were in the United States. You have to be American, and you kind of have to let go of your cultural identity in the process, which works well for some people. For me, it worked well, but I didn't know that my husband felt out of place, even after 12 years of being together. So he feels very much at home in Canada, and I think that's saying a lot.
Well, I think that's one of the things about being in Toronto and being in Canada is there's a real sense that you belong here.
Yes.
Right? And,
yes.
and I think that's part of what makes this country so special. So, as you know, Communitech has recently launched a campaign, first in Silicon Valley and now in Times Square, about encouraging people to look to Canada and really playing on the fact that, there is some immigration changes that could impact people significantly. For people who are listening and watching you today, what would you tell them about Canada that would surprise them?
First and foremost, the immigration process it's night and day. It's night and day different. When we decided to make the move, I posted on LinkedIn, and I got and there was an online newspaper from Pittsburgh that did a little story, and so we got literally hundreds of people, maybe even in the thousands, reaching out asking, well, how do I immigrate to Canada? And my answer is as simple as, Google the process. Like, you don't need an attorney. You don't need an exorbitant number, amount of dollars. And of course, we're talking about the high skilled, right? So it's obviously a lot easier for the high skilled, but that is the set of people that are hurting the most in the United States and across the world, because everyone sees the United States as a beacon for innovation, for a vibrant economy. But no one's looking at Canada, and Canada offers the same things. In fact, there are a lot more things. I think that the vibrancy of economy is surpassed what I think is happening in the United States. I think the last 3.5 years have been very regressive. It's sad, because I did live there for 18 years, and I do feel strongly about Pittsburgh, especially in our community. But things are progressing in Canada, and you can look here and see the future and see a better future where people are working together. People are building things based on what are the needs, what are the social needs, how can we better humanity. One of my board members at OCE, where I work, when I was interviewed, kind of shared this thing. He said in Canada you have a safety net. So no one can fall so low that they can't get up themselves. But then you also have, you kind of have a ceiling on top. So no one gets so rich and greedy that, you kind of just think you're above it all. And I think that, to me, is very telling of how the world needs to be. We can't leave others in the process of moving forward. And I think that's sort of where the United States is going. It's like, well, innovation is great, and let's just focus on how we can make more money and grow more. But there's this whole, and that segment is getting larger and larger, of people that are just getting left behind. And I feel like just morally that's wrong, and I think Canada has it right. And that, to me, is very important, because I feel like there are so many people here that share the values, and you might be from a different party, but the essential idea that we want to help everyone and support everyone is the same. So I'm just so happy. Every day we wake up, feeling happy that we made this decision.
That's awesome. Well, we're thrilled to have you here. So just for the record, I think we could get Audrey Russo to move north.
Oh my gosh! Do you know Audrey?
Oh yeah, very well, very well.
Oh my gosh, that's an interesting question. I had no idea you know Audrey. That's Pittsburgh is in an interesting place, right? There's a lot of good stuff happening. There is also a lot of the legacy way of thinking, right? And there is I think the younger generation, I say younger generation like I'm old, but there are a lot of really good universities and there is a lot of growing ecosystem. I think more of the old school way of doing things, the people need to get on board that, innovation is not just, 20-year-olds in a garage doing something. And if everyone gets on board, then I think it can grow really fast, really quick.
Now you have just started with OCE, which is fantastic. Congratulations.
Thank you.
They're an important partner of ours. Tell us about what you have discovered about a lot of the programs that exist in Canada that might have surprised you.
Oh my gosh. So I think this idea, that the government, so the public and the private can work together to figure out ways to support the innovation ecosystem, or SMEs, is just something that I think is so crucial moving forward. Because what happens when you're only looking at it with a private lens, right? You're only thinking about growth in the 5x and the 10x. You're not thinking about how we as a country can move forward. And I think that to me was the biggest excitement about moving to an organization like OCE is, we're looking at research, we're looking at taking that off the shelf and commercializing it, right? We want that. We don't want research to sit in a university. We're looking at the large corporations and the things that are bringing the emerging technology, and how do we take everyone? How does the rising tide raise all ships? And I think that's the messaging that I have heard every single time from the leadership at OCE. That makes me feel really proud of what's happening there, but also of all the partners that we have in the ecosystem, because I feel like what COVID has done is brought people, moved some of the physical barriers so everyone can work together. And I'm very, very positive, very bullish about where we can go together.
Well, listen, I wanted to take an opportunity to thank you for joining us today on TrueNorthTV, and I wanted to thank all of you for joining us at home today. Look forward to seeing you next week at noon, and until then, stay safe.
Thanks for watching this episode of TrueNorthTV. Missed an episode? Watch them on demand at TrueNorthWaterloo.com or on Communitech's YouTube channel.